a podcast created by two guys brought together by movement, transformed into brotherhood. The boys share their authenticity as they deep dive into what it means to explore this human experience, shedding light on personal trials and accumulated wisdom. Conscious Collingwood is meant to provoke thought and insight to expand your personal awareness. Come along for the journey as Justin and Jeff exemplify what it means to be a man living wholeheartedly, balancing the divine, masculine, and feminine. Welcome to Conscious Collingwood.
Dude, this is hard to get into.
We're back, baby. Oh, dude, I'm stoked. I'm stoked to be back. This is great. I'm happy.
So,
let's talk about our disagreement.
So Justin and I had our first big fight.
Yo, we didn't have. I wouldn't call it a fight. No, I think all in relation. If any relationship you're in, and I'm not trying to punch you, but any relationship you're in, all arguments or disagreements really boil down to misunderstandings. And as soon as you can communicate the best of your ability to understand each other, you resolve the quarrel.
Should I share what you did to me?
Yeah, sure.
No, we, as we've alluded to many times on here, we have busy schedules, and a couple of weeks ago, we were teed up to do our Tuesday podcast, and you had to change your schedule and back out. And then we actually had a beautiful conversation. You just need some space. You were feeling overwhelmed. You had a lot of clients and classes and just life, and you needed a breath. And so we had a great conversation around that. And then it happened last week. You would overbook yourself.
Fuck me. I do.
Am I selling you out here?
No.
It's coming around. So
no.
So where it happened was we're okay with it. It was just, again, like you said, it was just miscommunication, misunderstanding, and us just being busy. And I think what happened for me was I was feeling similar. Let's say it was a month or two ago where I felt overwhelmed. But we had made kind of a commitment to do this weekly, and I would say you called me forward and said, "Listen, let's do this. We find the time, make it happen." And I did. You motivated me, and I just had to work harder that day with whatever I was doing, and it worked out. And so I think I wouldn't even call it resentment. It was just this energy of like, what's going on here with the podcast? Like, how committed are we? Like, what's because we enjoy doing this.
Dude, it's like one of my favorite parts of the week.
And so, after last week, when our schedule changed, I just had to sit with it for a day or two, because at the end of the day, it's not you, it's what's showing up for me. And so I had to reflect on that of what's showing up for me with Justin, changing his schedule or having to modify things. And
he wasn't texting me back for a few days.
We were fighting.
If you've ever been in a situation with somebody or in a relationship with somebody and they don't text you back for a few days, I would say it's we're working through something, which is beautiful. This is Conscious Collingwood.
Yeah,
learning how to consciously engage in a relationship.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, I just I think I went to one of your strength classes. I forget what it was, but I went. Like, I wasn't purposefully ignoring you. It's just like, I just need to sit with this for a minute or two. And again, with our technological world and the ability to communicate in a second, it just feels like probably a week or months when you don't get a reply back in a couple of days or a day or two, and which is the same thing. And so, but then I finally, we kind of sorted through my head of what was going on. And so I just sent you a note and was like, hey, dude, this is what's showing up for me. And blah, 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 blah. And I don't know, we had a beautiful conversation.
Yeah. I got to apologize because Yeah, I never want to make my friend feel badly or build resentment. And yeah, I owned up to it.
Yeah, but we're making it sound bigger than it probably was. But for dramatic effect, really,
Well,
to sell tickets. I'm
I'm sure that every person that listens to this podcast can resonate.
Yeah.
When there's a disagreement with somebody and it feels sticky and
I
how
think
to move through it.
I think why I appreciated it because two things. It allowed us to clarify what the chatting, the podcast means, but also, not that I've been waiting for something, but I mean, we've agreed on fucking everything for the last 2 years. We've joked, it's like, what's going to be the topic that maybe creates a thorn? Is it, is it abortion? Is it politics? Is it fucking, is it, I had to go crazy there.
I did.
Is it, I don't know, nutrition? Like, I don't know. What's it going to be?
Yeah.
We've never had a real
When are we
raffle.
going to buff butt heads?
And it came down to feeling appreciated and
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah.
But you get my point. It was like,
Totally.
it needed to happen to, and the other thing I appreciated, and I think through 16 years of marriage, that's one of our strong suits. Terry and I have gotten very, very good at our communication skills. But our ability to just navigate our feelings and come out the other side with greater clarity, it's just, that's how every relationship, even if it's with your spouse or a stranger, should happen.
Yeah.
Just let's have a diplomatic conversation here. This is what's showing up for me. This is how I feel. How do you feel in this situation? Oh, similar? This and that? Okay. Well, now we can agree on this.
Yeah. When it comes to relationship, I always say, like, or I learned from Paul, but really, how do you take ownership for your 100% of your 50% of the relationship? You're 50%, I'm 50%, and we're human.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I own 100% of my 50?
Yeah.
And that always brings me to better understanding of, like, and instead of, like, judgment, curiosity. That's the way to lead.
That those two words have served me well. I really feel like I've grown a lot just because of those two words. Whether it's parenting with the girls, other situations and relationships, it's just like, yeah, let's be more curious here.
Yeah.
Instead of accusatory, like, you're doing this to me. Well, that's probably not accurate.
Yeah. Like, you fucking know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like you're trying to make me feel really disrespected or something, or vice versa. That's not what's happening here.
No.
No.
There's few people I care more about. Honestly. So, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Relationships. Communication. Wow.
But, that's why our world's in a dumpster fire right now. And,
fucking dumpster fire.
because nobody knows how to communicate. Politicians don't. Leaders of the free world don't. It's just, and it's probably all by design, right? To keep us all fucked up and bitching at each other. But it's, at the end of the day,
Can you
it's
imagine?
communication.
Can you imagine the leaders of the free world sat down and said, like, let's do a little bit of inner work. How can I be responsible for 100% of my 50%?
Yeah. Can you imagine if a politician apologized?
No.
No, but think about it if they did. They came, listen here. Listen, folks.
Sorry.
I really fucked up on that one. But here's what I learned.
Wow.
And maybe label 5 to 10 things of, geez, I'll tell you what, this is what I learned in this situation.
Yep.
Can you imagine how many more votes that person would get?
This is what I learned. These are my takeaways.
Yeah.
You definitely want to vote for that person.
There's transparency, there's honesty, they breed trust. It's a tough topic because I just believe it's all a show, it's all drama. But if democracy was supposed to work the way you think it's supposed to work, then yes, how refreshing would that be? and two parties that just could communicate. Listen, these constituents over here kind of want this. These ones over here want this. Can we just find something in the middle?
Yeah.
Because most people, I think, with their views, live in the middle.
That's actually what
Life
I've
doesn't need to be
experienced.
so polarizing. It's just, no, people want to live in neutral.
Yeah, I don't engage in a lot of conversation about politics just due to my. It stems from. I don't trust them, and I don't let them have much power over my day-to-day life
Mm-hmm.
because, yeah, I just don't believe that. Yeah, there's no trust, and they've never. I wouldn't say, for the most part, it's positive. Politics has ever positively impacted my life. I just see people argue about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I've always kind of stayed away from the conversation just due to that. But fuck me, like if I got to watch them on TV, like sit down and like listen to each other instead of like talk over each other and come to any kind of resolve or understanding of the other's perspective, I might become a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'd be like, wow, what a great example of healthy communication.
Wow.
Wow. They are leading by example.
I
I haven't
know,
been able to say that yet.
I know that with certainty, you've likely never watched 30 seconds of House of Commons, have you?
No.
Never.
No, dude.
So
I have not.
I'll tune in once in a while. If I'm sitting down to eat or just chill out for a few minutes, I'll
I want to get fucking
scroll
upset.
Yeah. But I'll scroll through, or even just a highlight, right? You'll see, let's say the Liberals and then the opposition, the Conservatives, they'll be bitching in the House of Commons, and they can't look at each other. They have to look at the Speaker of the House, the mediator, and then so right there's a disconnect. They're not even talking to each other. They're talking through somebody else, even though they're fucking 20 feet from each other across the room, and then it's just bickering back and forth. It becomes this play. It's just like you're not even making sense. And how, like, if you had some children or adolescents watching this as an example of how to communicate as an adult, like, what? And again, if our government was operated like a business, our country's dead, like out of business, which it almost is out of business. So it's just the hierarchy of communication and how it's all intertwined and works. It's just like it doesn't work. Like back in the day when they probably established the country and they had to establish boundaries and there's province and stuff and communication, it made all sense. But now politics is just manipulation and corruption
make
and
sense.
Huh?
They were killing people back then.
Well, that's fair,
right? Like, our and the funny thing is,
that's a good point.
Maybe our communication is getting better. If we really think about it,
Oh, wow.
We were killing people, taking fucking land, just doing whatever the fuck they wanted. I'm not actually. I would never group myself into that fucking group. I was just born into circumstance. But the reality is, like, if it was like, what is it, 100 years? 100 something years? 150? If we went from, in 150 years, we went from killing people to arguing.
Jeez, I just got caught in a lie. You're right.
What's another 50 gonna do?
I've just been caught up in it all. It's a really good point.
I don't know, but that's maybe the perspective I bring to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm so far away from it.
Yeah. I
don't think you lied there at all.
No, but I definitely a blind spot. I forgot that a bunch of indigenous people have been murdered forever.
Oh, dude. Oh, no.
Like,
yeah. Super important.
Fuck. And I think that is the trap, right? Like, that's why I'm saying I just probably got myself caught in the trap of the theater of it all.
Yeah.
But I think goes back to the novel Lord of the Flies and stuff. Like and we talk about this when it comes to drugs and things like that. Like, how much structure is required in society? Like, if you just let people govern themselves, like how more sophisticated would, like how much more stronger would communication be and understanding and all that sort of stuff, like just letting people live their lives. You know, I often wonder that we need roads, we need utilities and stuff like that. So yeah, if you just let smaller municipalities and stuff govern themselves and deal with it, and then maybe communicate with neighboring municipalities. Hey, do you want to share water? Do you want to share this pipeline? Like that makes sense. But when you get government that's so big, it just becomes this big monster that it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm making any sense, but it's just...
Well, government pretty much fueled by, corporations. The interest of corporations.
This is the first time we talked about this, and I went way off track there. The whole point of bringing that up was the art of communication.
Yeah.
And how refreshing would it be if we could all just communicate better and more coherently?
Well, I think communication really comes down to caring enough about the relationship and others outside of yourself. Where I don't think government cares about the people at the end of the day. They care about profit. If it comes, one thing I learned about business, it's all about the money and it's all about the numbers, and I only heart is where I understand heart, and that's why most business doesn't make sense to me. Government doesn't make sense to me. It's just a big ploy. If they really cared about us, things would look a little bit different, and they'd communicate that, which they don't.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Very simple.
Thanks, man. Wow, we got to talk about government. You've wanted to do this for a while. Wow. Yeah,
and I think that just comes from a loving place, because care about people, and there's just so much hurt out there, and there's just so much money and taxes that get wasted, and you're just like, come on, like you're fucking lying to us, and that's where it's just like I just get tired of being lied to.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone that lied.
No. Right, and that's what it is. We are obviously in a relationship with the government, and we have to live in this country. Not have to, but we live in this country, and there's so many blessings, and that's where we get trapped too, right? And you could apply this to any relationship. Well, this person takes care of me, and I'm financially sound, and we get to go on trips, but once in a while he hits me. Or life isn't that bad. It could be worse,
Oh, yeah.
I could be homeless. And so we use our logical mind to justify why things are okay, right? When it's like, no, this isn't okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What do they call it? Where you start defending your abuser? Something to do with syndrome. Something to do with it's like
I should Google it.
Yeah, if I can Google it. It's where
hey Jamie, look that up. What's that called?
Yeah, what's that called? Dan? It's like where the Nazis, the internment camps.
Something sympathizers?
Yes. No. That's different. It's where you start defending your abuser. Look that up.
Oh, Stockholm Syndrome.
Stockholm Syndrome. Fucking Stockholm Syndrome.
Someone who has
The
Stockholm...
fact that anybody fucking defends the government...
Yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Someone who has Stockholm Syndrome might have confusing feelings toward the abuser, including love, sympathy, empathy, desire to protect them.
Yeah. And as an empath...
It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah. I can see the human in anybody. Whether it's JT, Justin Trudeau, totally, I could find sympathy for him.
Yeah.
He's a human, he's got family, he's got to navigate a whole country. Jeez. You know, that's probably tough.
Yeah, he's actually not that bad a person. He should be paid more.
Well, no.
No,
Let's
he
not
deserves
go
more.
that far.
His value just went up because of that. Instead of feelings of fear, terror, and hostility toward your abuser, you may begin feeling a sense of humanity and compassion for them. Yeah, I mean,
That's it.
fuck him. He ain't getting any of that from me.
Yeah. Well, that's true. He doesn't. Does he deserve it?
Someone hasn't shot him yet is beyond me.
But at the same point, we don't wish that on anybody. Because we don't want to be just as bad as the people that killed people because they think that's going to solve the problem.
Yeah, I think being human, that's the one thing we can get caught in so quickly is separating ourselves from the oneness, separating ourselves from someone like Justin. He's still a human, and when we judge that individual or anybody else, we're judging the same energy that created me or us, right? And so when I first heard that, I was like, it gave me the ability to have a lot of passion for a couple people that I used to judge that, let's say they're in my family or something. I'm like, wow, when I'm judging them, I'm judging the same fucking person who created me, or the same energy, the same thing, entity, whatever it is. And it grounded me, and it kind of put me in my spot. It's like, oh, that's big, you know? And I think I've heard it from Ram Dass maybe, but like, one thing that's been kind of interesting is finding the godlike in someone else, whether it's just a smile, a laugh, and it might be the contrast of like, oh, that person's not doing something very kind, but that's the contrast I need to experience the situation, right, and grow from it. So, because in a lot of ways, I might have mentioned this before, but like, the fact we can still sit in this building and do this podcast 4 years after what we went through is pretty amazing. And I don't have the level of personal growth to some degree if it isn't for the lack of government leadership and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a sense of gratitude there. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's opposite of Stockholm Syndrome. It's an appreciation for the bullshit. Mm-hmm. I'm not defending them assholes, but I'm grateful for that contrast, Yeah. But
Paul said something recently that actually was like super profound. So, for context, he describes God, capital G-O-D, not some person in the sky, as everything. Jeff, me, the couch, everything. God is also synonymous with love. Love is Jeff, it's me, it's the couch, it's everything. And so he was posed with the question, why is all this killing happening? Why is the world in such disarray? And he said, well, God is, or he posed the question, he said, do you like movies? And the person said, yes. And he said, do you like comedy? He's like, yeah, I love, some comedies. Do you like some shoot 'em up sometimes? Some action. And the person's like, yeah, I love some shoot 'em up action movies sometimes. And he says, so does God. Right? So if the source of all is love is unconditional love. So regardless of what actions you choose to do, whether it's murder, shoot, fucking whatever, it's a yes. Because unconditional love will always love you regardless of what you're choosing to do. And if source is source, it will do everything to experience itself. So, that was like pretty cool for me. I was like, that makes total sense. Like, why is the world in such disarray?
Yeah, that's a deep one. It'll do whatever it can to experience itself fully.
Yeah. So, regardless of the question, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Should I drive my car into the front of the golf club? Yeah, why not? Love you either way. As long as you love yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I got him. Do you think there's any bypassing with that commentary?
If it didn't come back to source, potentially. Because whenever you look or whenever you think about these things, you're looking into the deeper truth of all it is. So, bypassing is a human concept that we created through language, and it's an expression of our psyche. So, is bypassing now a way of you saying, like, is your thought fully calculated? When if we actually talk about source, which is the birthplace of all it is, it doesn't understand bypassing. I could use it as a way to bypass. But I think the deeper truth is it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Check me if I'm wrong. But I believe that if you are consciously or unconsciously bypassing, there's still ownership. And ownership is led by the way that you lead your life. So I would say I'm not bypassing. Because I'm always actively trying to be more conscious than the last moment.
Mm-hmm.
But for some people, quite possibly.
When I posed that question right there, it hit me. I was like, I've heard, and I don't have stats, but they do say in many conversations that yes, even though there are atrocities being committed on this planet still, it's still a much better place than it was 100 years ago, 200 years ago, thousands of years ago. Because the fact that you and I can sit on this couch and have deep conversations like this, and there's millions of people doing podcasts and expressing themselves, and, you know, there's more of the world there's still a lot of people that live in poverty and live, you know, in terrible means, but there's still a lot of people that have the ability to provide and create and expand. The way I look at it is all the bad stuff is still just the contrast, and it does feel like it's getting lighter and lighter. Like this whole COVID thing that happened was a huge shift in consciousness, and there's just a lot more discernment now. It feels like people are starting to pay attention, going, this math isn't mathing.
Yeah.
You know, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know, we're not being appreciated by the government for what we do, what we provide, blah, blah, blah. Farmers aren't being appreciated. Like this whole farmer movement, regenerative farming and stuff is taking fire because people understand that, you know, big farm is, you know, ruining our soils and all that sort of stuff. Good or bad, it happened, but it created that contrast. Not to keep burning that word, you know, overuse that word, but you can see something is the topic of regenerative farming is taking hold because people want to be nourished better. They want to know where their source of food is coming from, and they want to support the local farmer. And I do believe what you'll find is these big companies are going to have to catch up with that movement, or else they'll just go out of business. And like you said, business is all about numbers. And if their numbers start going down, they got to figure this out. So that's where we as individuals can take the power back. You know, on a microscopic level to some degree, and have an effect. It may seem small, but to me, it has a big effect on the world. So,
well, it does.
Yeah, because if we're strengthening ourselves individually, that has a ripple effect on our neighbor, the next person, family member, and then it just everyone starts to heal and get better. And you know, we probably won't see all the changes in our lifetime, but you know, lifetimes to come, the planet will heal itself. And
have you ever heard of Rupert Sheldrake?
I have, but I'm blanking.
Okay, so Rupert Sheldrake, he.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking about? A guy that comes to the golf club that has a similar name. That was a lie.
Yeah.
Just totally lie.
Yeah, he's not the guy from the. But Rupert Sheldrake, he did a lot of studying of like species, whether it's animals or human beings, and he created this concept called morphogenic fields. And a morphogenic field is like when, if you put, if you have these chicklets, let's call them little baby chickens, and then you put their food on an electrical plate, and they go towards the food, you shock them. Okay? And there's obviously an indicator that this electrical plate fucking shocks you if you want food at certain times. Let's say that. And then they found that the offspring of those chickens already knew. Okay? So they were separated from the mother. They were just put in a cage. They knew. It was in their genetic makeup. So it's a morphogenic field. You pass down your genes, which hold memory, to your daughters. You know, technically the accumulation of the stress, trauma, whatever you've gone through is going to be imprinted in some way into your offspring. And so it's this concept that there's and it also goes back to, you know, there's a walnut seed, and the intelligence of a walnut tree is within the seed, and it has been folded so many times into a seed from a tree. And if you plant it, give it the right information, water, sunlight, it will unfold into its divine nature. So I might have got lost here a little bit, but really it's like saying how when we change ourselves, we have an impact into, you know, our lineages. And how I see this is like the world is still a fucking dumpster fire. Like it is, yes, you know, better than it was in the sense that I feel safe. I feel so fucking grateful for that. And there's still people being fucking murdered every day. And so what's beautiful about this time is our ability to communicate. And if communication is really the conduit for healing relationship, then we have now more potential to make a more beautiful world. Mm-hmm. Yet we're still living in a fucking soup of consciousness. And we all know that consciousness is polarity at the end of the day. So, and it's in polarity that we experience ourselves. Mm. So, can there ever be world peace? I don't know. You know? Who's going to be helping us gain perspective if there's peace on Earth? Mm. Is that even possible? I would love for it to be. Don't get me wrong. This is just a concept. But really, morphogenic fields just comes back to the better we heal ourselves and take responsibility for our 100% of our 50% of every relationship we're ever in. And that's going to have the biggest impact on the future. Yeah. Is my perspective. Lead by example.
Yeah, that's beautiful. God, it's hard to listen intently and then have thoughts at the same time.
Well, technically, if you're not listening, if you're thinking about all the things that you want to.
Well, it's hard to have a conversation if we're going to segue. You want to fight again, Justin?
No.
Do you want to get into it again? A couple,
You never listen to me.
So is a couple things showed up for me, but is morphogenetics similar to epigenetics then? Like, is that the same? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Morphogenic, epigenetic.
Yeah.
Epigenetics is the gene expression. If you have cancer in your family, and you are like, I'm fucking terrified of having cancer because my mom had cancer, my grandma had cancer, but they didn't take care of themselves lifestyle-wise. If you take care of yourself lifestyle-wise, you have the potential of turning those genes off. Mm-hmm. You can turn genes off and on, all depending on how well you take care of yourself and how really taking care of yourself is how honest can you be with yourself.
Yeah.
Really honest. And lead a life by, example that inspires people. So that's epigenetics. Morphogenic fields is more ethereal in it is the memory held by your genes.
Okay. So I've heard someone use the word epigenetics. They might be using it using the wrong language, potentially. I'll have to look this up much more.
Epigenetics is like what you're predisposed to, your genes, your genetic makeup.
I'll tell you, like having 2 daughters and seeing the oldest, it's like looking in a fucking mirror sometimes.
Dude, I know.
And then
when I see Ella, I think it'd be like,
I was down in a room, we were just chit chatting yesterday, and
very successful.
She's thank you. Hopefully, she will be. But I came back from yoga class and I just went into the room to chat with her for a second or whatever else on her bed, and she's sitting at her desk in her mirror brushing her hair, and it's like me looking in the mirror brushing long hair. It was just it was interesting. But when it comes to like her competitiveness, her temperament, it's like, oh, I gotta help her because I've helped myself. It's like I can just feel that morphogenetic field in her, and same thing with Georgia and Terry. It's like they're twinning, and Georgia has a lot of similarities personality-wise and whatever else to her mother, and so it's very interesting. And so one thing that I've come to realize, I feel, and this I think is a podcast maybe all on its own as a topic, but like the sense of responsibility to sacrifice my life for the future, in the sense that if I want to leave this planet a better place, then I need to sacrifice what my ego kind of wants, right? And I'm still going to chase some dreams and do what I want, but really I think for me, my goal is to raise 2 daughters that are the strongest women they can be, and to heal the lineage, and help heal my parents' trauma that they might never have healed, right? And then their parents, my grandparents' trauma, like, I've been in the garage at times, whether I was under the influence of substances or not, but able to tap into something and like feel my mom or my dad's pain and what they went through as a kid. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden it would hit me. It's like, oh my God, I felt that. Or my grandma. So yeah, I think I feel like I have this sense of responsibility, and like I use the word sacrifice. Like this isn't about me anymore. This is something bigger, and, use me as a tool, Lord. Like, what do you want me to do? Yeah. But like you say, be honest with myself and take care of myself the best I can. And that'll have a ripple effect, hopefully for generations to come. But on the topic of, will we ever find world peace? I don't know, dude. For a long time, I felt that, and this might be another million years, but if humanity got to a point where the last murder, like the last killing ever happened, it's like God, capital God, like won his own game, and all of a sudden, like what's that word? Care Bears, like just love just happens, and the whole fucking world just explodes. Yeah, because it's like the game finished.
Yeah,
and because now there's no contrast, it has to start back at
A seed.
And then it just, there's
Walnut tree.
Huh?
It folds into itself.
Yeah.
To be birthed again, to go through the experience.
And I don't know anything about this shit, but they do say like the world is expanded, but it's coming back on itself too. Like it's over my head, but it's fun to think about. But it's just this bang happens or this energy happens, but then it's closing in on itself. It's folding in or whatever, right? It's coming back in.
Yeah.
So I have, I think it's a beautiful image to think that at some point this game will be unlocked or I've even thought like maybe fucking Jesus does return. Maybe somehow God, like
my grandma's been telling me that for fucking years.
We get an answer, and as a human being, we actually get an answer.
Yeah.
Like as soon as we all are holding hands, 7 billion of us are holding hands.
Kumbaya, baby.
All of a sudden,
yeah,
he comes down and stands in the middle.
Yeah,
and we can all see it. He's just projected in the sphere of the sport, and we go, "Oh, okay."
No, what'll happen is everybody like, "What took so long, Jesus?" And he said, I was just waiting for you.
Yeah.
And then we're all like, oh,
we could have made life so much easier. All this pain and suffering.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then Justin Trudeau would have really reflected on all his decisions and been like, why did I do
And Hitler's there and he's just like, oh shit.
He's weeping.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the center of the earth blows up.
Yes.
In this beautiful white light that you can't even, it's unfathomable how white it is.
No.
Just
boom.
And then we start all over.
Start
and dinosaurs are back.
Fucking dinosaurs.
You know how fucked up? We gotta get going here to our circle.
Yeah.
You know the most messed up thing as being a human is like the news will say, "Oh, another dinosaur bone was found," or we watched Jurassic Park, or we actually go to a museum in fucking Calgary, and we forget that there was goddamn dinosaurs on this earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why are we fighting about anything? There used to be dinosaurs on this fucking planet.
Yeah. What's next?
Yes. It's like,
yeah.
Why? Why do I care if you had to reschedule?
God,
or why are Palestine and Israel fighting? There was dinosaurs on this planet.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's life on this planet because of fucking orb of fire.
It's mental how confused we all get.
Mental.
And these fucking elitists have figured all this out and have just manipulated us to gain power.
You know what business is? Business is marketing, and marketing is mental manipulation.
It is.
So understand marketing so that you can get outside of the trap.
Do you feel that about your business? I don't feel that about ours, though. I feel we provide a service and a value to people.
Yeah.
I don't feel
no, I think we created a business without marketing as the model.
Yeah.
But to scale and to be something that's impactful, it needs to be spoken to like in a way that would create desire. So I don't think that marketing is a bad thing as long as you use it for good.
I was going to say, so there's obviously good marketing, there's good persuasion and not manipulation, but good persuasion and there's bad.
Yeah, there's bad.
Hey, just like polarity, Justin.
Fuck him. It all goes back. The answer is yes.
Oh shit.
That's what it is. Fuck, dude, we got men's circle. Yo, this was a good podcast.
It's very deep.
We came back.
Hey, let's hug on camera. This is so
we're growing here. Thanks, buddy. I'm glad we've come home to our friendship.
Oh, that was fun.
Thank you for being with us. We love recording these podcasts. If you know anyone who would resonate with today's episode, we would be grateful if you would share it with them. If you have any questions or comments, do not be shy and reach out. We would love to connect with you. Until next time, be well, love yourself, and live consciously.